Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. How come you were late? I don't know. The alarm clock didn't go off on time. Is that a good excuse? Well, Prince is here. Good morning. Yeah, me too, Prince. Helping myself in the process as well. Okay, so while we are going to wait for some of our friends around the world to join us, I will say hello to whoever is here. Prince is the first one. And I will have a sip on my regular shake, banana, almond milk, and cocoa powder. As usual, let me know from where you're tuning in, and we can start anytime you guys have a question, as soon as a bunch of you show up and show me that you're online, so at least I know I'm not just by myself here and Prince. So it tells me that there are 25 people, and then it says there's 50 people. However, I like to see, there we go, now we're beginning to see. Enrico is here. Well, good. Whenever I laugh, I smile too. Witchcraft, yes, witchcraft. I wish I had that. There would be lots of things that I would use that witchcraft to fix in this world. I am sure that you have a bunch yourself. So how has your weeks been, guys? Let me know where you guys are, from where you're tuning in, and as soon as we have a bunch of people already having said hello and we have exchanged greetings, we will start our discussion on whatever is on your mind to do with your relationships, breakup, or any other matter having to do with thoughts, consciousness, fears, desires, and ego, things that could be on your mind, on your daily life, things that you're negotiating with, dealing with, trying to manage and sort out your life as best as you can. On that note, we are still waiting for new people to join us. That gives me time to have a sip of this. That's my favorite cup with the horsey on it. As you know, or if you do or not, I love horses. And equestrian training had been in my younger age the thing for me. Everybody's into something, and that's what I was most into. And let me know if you guys are here, and if you have a question, you can throw it in. There is Juan from Dubai. Ahlan wa sahlan. I hope you probably speak a little bit of Arabic as well when you're in Dubai. You must, right? Otherwise you can't eat. Brian from Cincinnati, Ohio. Oh, that's close by in a way. Same hemisphere. Hassan from Turkey. Hassan, last time I said to a Turkish friend who joined us, I said güle güle efendi, but he said that güle güle means bye bye. So I don't know what to say now. I thought it means welcome rather than bye bye. So maybe Hassan, you can educate me. Let me know what is the best thing. What does güle güle mean? Is it mean welcome, happy to see you, or is it bye bye? So at least I know something better than I did before. Hana Jana or Hana says she is Lebanese. Oh, okay, then obviously then you understood what I said. Okay. Palm. Hello, dear. Let me know where you guys are saying hello from, so at least I know the geographic area that today we're covering. Yesterday, at my own Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth, we had a live talk, and we went as far as the Cook Islands, and it was wonderful. Good morning, dear. Who is this? Aha, that's Kerry. Hello, Kerry. How are you? Chester. Chester says, my boy is back again. Keep up the good work. Always looking forward to see. Good, me too. It's a tradition for us on Sundays. Remember, guys, make sure you do go on my Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth. You have the link up there. If you look up on the name of the Q&A today, the announcement up there, the post, you have the Facebook page of mine, Mind That Seeks Truth. Please go in there and like it, so we'll be in touch, because soon, I don't know when, we will have more things happening there. And I'm working on having the live streamline live talks on YouTube, so we'll reach a lot more people until I learn how that is done. So we'll continue here, and we may still keep these while we do on YouTube as well. So do go on Mind That Seeks Truth Facebook page and do click like, and there are nice posts there as well, and also these will be posted there afterwards. I'm sure you all know that mindthatseekstruth.com is a site that I have where you can take a look at the sample chapters of my book, and you can also book an appointment for one-on-one talk if should that be necessary, which that is what I do all around the week, all around the world. And of course there are other seminars and things that I've done in the past. There's still it's available for you to look at and see if it helps you out. Other than that, YouTube, I just uploaded a new video yesterday, and will upload one tomorrow, and this will also be on YouTube as well, and we go on from there. Let's see if we have more people have joined us. Deidre from Maine. Hello, Deidre. And did I miss anyone here? No, we have Natasha from Netherlands. Natasha. Deckers. Marcos from Mexico, Tijuana. Hello, dear. Enrico from Philippines. Hello. Anna Bartozzi from Poland, or Bartozzi, something like that. Sorry if I can't pronounce everything correctly. Good, Kerry, good to hear you're well. Janet, hello, Janet from UK. And Chester. Chester remembers the cook. Oh, you were there, Chester, also on the other. Chris Zhidorovsky from Algeria. Interesting, Chris. Your last name sounds more of a Russian or Polish or Czechoslovakian, as far as I know, but you're from Algeria. Raj, India. Kerry. Oh, thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that. My son bought this for me. Alex. Salam, Alex. Where have you been? You have been absent for the couple of weeks or couple of sessions, I believe. Hope all is well. Brian says, my marriage ended after 16 years. Old habits die hard. I need a new path. Okay, well, you know who can create the new path. No one but you. because you know exactly where you want to go. That's the number one for creating a path, where you want to go, which direction. Then, of course, you'll tiptoe until you're sure of your footing. So start slow, and there is no time limit to creating a good path to a good destination. Sabrina, hello dear. Guys, you were supposed to let me know from where you're tuning in. So I see lots of hellos, and that's wonderful, thank you. But I also want to know where you guys are tuning in, so I know which area we are in. Julia from Ukraine, that's nice. And Chester. What? Preach it? I don't know what that is, but hey, fine. I laugh at any good joke or anything. Sabrina from Lindsay, California. Oh, you're just stone throw away. Ciao from Orlando, Florida. Nice. Okay, guys, now I think we have warmed up. And I'm woken up a little bit more. So that was my excuse. And so we can start. We start first with the weather. The weather report here in Vancouver is a little bit rainy and foggy and yet not that cold. So, on that note, I have reported everything. I'm now waiting for your questions so we can begin and have some fun. I don't know what happened. Oh. Yes, I comb my hair so the water is there. So now there is Nasreen from London. Hello, Nasreen. Nasreen Mirza. Is that a Persian name, or is it perhaps from India? I am not sure. Bong Bong from Texas. All right, coming from Texas with the name Bong Bong, everybody's going to be very scared because that could mean you would be trying to bring the Old West back. So Enrico says, Prince said you have done Aikido. Yes, how do you know Prince, and how does Prince know? How did it help you grow as a person and a martial artist? Well, Aikido has been a big part of my life, and I started that in university, and the story was actually quite interesting. I had no interest in Aikido, and I was into karate and all that, you know, all those things that we at that age, 18, 17, 16, we're all into. I would watch all these karate movies and loved it, and I would go and practice nunchucks in dark and try to learn it without having to focus on it with my eyes, just feel it. And I would beat the crap out of myself everywhere I face it, and until I learned it. But then, those were my interests in karate. But then, I was freshman in university. Was it? Yeah, or maybe it was sophomore, no, freshman. And then I went back to my home country for summer vacation in the first year. I was just going to be sophomore. And I was late about a few days to get back because I had equestrian championships at home and international events and so on. And so I somehow didn't get to be at the university at the registration date. So when I got back, I got a few other courses, and I was 1/3 course short. And I wanted to have a full term, full course, full load. My roommate said to me, I know the teacher at Aikido class, and he will sign it up for you even though you're like a few days after the school has started. I said, but what is Aikido? Aikido is for sissies. I said, and he said, yeah, well, you won 1/3 course, don't you? Who cares what it is? If you don't understand it now, it doesn't matter. Just come, trust me. I said, okay, I need 1/3 course. Sure enough, I sat there once and I listened, and when I saw what they're talking about, it wasn't all physical defense and techniques. I noticed it's way more than that, way more than that, and I was intrigued. I was sold like what it was. It was an amazing journey, and I enjoyed every bit of it. The understanding of the relationship between mind and the body, the understanding relationship between our energy and the universal energy, and that there is an energy that you can actually feel and become one with it, and be able to direct it and extend it and learn more, to become one with the source, and to actually be able to feel it and see what is not visible through the exercises. And it was a beautiful journey, and it became part of my life, big part of me, huge part of my life. And so until today, I remember it, exercise it, the techniques are there, the understanding of relationship between us and the nature and the energy, flow of the energy, how to help ourselves, have a strong willpower, be able to withstand negative forces and navigate better through life, help others, have healing touch, understand how to heal ourselves, how to heal others, to the point that we are good enough or strong enough or trained enough. It's an unlimited journey. So that's my short story about it. So Enrico says, Prince is your friend for Saturday. Oh, that's good. So now that you know everything about me, so to speak, what are your questions? I'm sure you're not here to listen to my experiences of Aikido and whatever else I have experienced in this journey of life, but we want to talk about you. What's on your mind? David says, David Lozano, it rings a bell, David. Hello, Mehran. He says, I'm not sure if you remember me, but we had a 1-hour Skype session about 2 months ago. Oh, yes, David. That David. Yes. I believe you are in States somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize, though, David. I do remember you if you give me a little bit thing, but it's just sometimes so many people, I talk about different things, and there we go. Yes, David. So I'm not that far off. Now, questions, guys. Remember, I mean, I'm having fun. I can talk chit-chat about whatever you want, but I'm sure that you may have come here in order to maybe hear what other people's concerns are, and possibly we can discuss and explore, not necessarily to socialize with me, but to maybe find something to ponder on. So that's why I say, otherwise I'm having a great time. You don't have to ask any questions. We can just chit chat. Okay, now David says yes. Oh, yes. Something more, I remember, David. Yes. Oh, yes. Now I remember. Yes. I hope you're well, and I hope you're good by now, and you're not pursuing that anymore, and it's all good and gone, and you're on your path to something bigger and better, and I've sorted things out. Yes. Debbie. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Debbie says you talk about transient thoughts. And I know you say they are not always right. But what can we do about physical feelings they bring, such as sadness? No, well, your reaction to things that brings you sadness is not something to want to go away from it. Last night I was taking a walk on my way to the sea walk. I decided to walk on a soccer field. I was a bit lazy to go all the way, so I said, I'll do my hour walk in the field. And I remembered my father, and I was sad. You know, it was not too difficult to cry. It was very easy. And that's the emotion that we get. That's the reaction we have from sad memories, or good memories, sad not to have it. So sadness is not something that it's supposed to be bad by itself. What happened may be bad or good, but the feeling of sadness is like you react to something that makes you laugh and you're happy. So you react to something that is not so pleasant, brings you sadness. So that's okay. So when you feel sad by remembering your past relationship or something that you still want to have it, in other words, you try to make permanent out of a temporary, which is the rhythm of life. Almost everything in this life is temporary. You don't know, the ones who were at my other talk yesterday, we talked about this suffering, which comes from when we want to turn temporary into permanent. That's where suffering starts. And I mentioned there's a chapter in my Me, My Psyche and I book talks about this particular part. But remember, when you have had some kind of experience, some part of your life, you had something and you lost it, or it's no longer there. Whatever it was, your briefcase or your wallet or your jewelry you never used, or something, your shirt, something you can't find it, and you feel there's a file of emotion about that particular item or that particular event in your life, that particular person in your life that's no longer in your life. And these are all come, when you remember them, they come with the file of a memory. In that file of a memory, there's so many emotions also in there. And all of that comes together. As soon as you recognize the name of the file, name of the event, name of the person, the whole file comes. And that is good memory, bad memory, intimacy, sexuality, interactions of different kind, events and so on. Everything is there. So you need to focus on first understanding, do I want these memories to come with the emotional file that they bring with them and be affected by it? If you say no, then you may want to try to do something when that file comes up. Now, in the case of the file, the emotional file and the file that you're remembering being about an old relationship, an ex, something that is no longer and it's broken up, but you were not initiator of it, and you feel sad because you want that person still. Well, you want that person because you still think of that person higher than you, a better catch than you, more than you. So you have a propensity towards that, what makes you feel more, because you consider him or her more. So you attach yourself. Like when you go shopping, you buy things technologically or quality-wise are interesting, and you want to attach yourself to the quality of that thing that you want to buy, because that quality represents knowledge, advancement, value, and you attach the value of that thing to yourself. So hence you feel more, you feel elated, you feel elevated in worth and value. That's pretty much part of the reason that people keep going shopping, for no reason. They just want to increase their value. So now, when you remember that person or that relationship, you're still, with that memory that comes with you, you're still thinking of that person higher. That's why you miss him or her. So, why don't we play a trick? When you, it's a little bit funny, but that's the way you try different things. There are different ways that I've talked about how to delete your memory, how to deal with these things that we're just talking about in over 300 videos that we have on YouTube. But today, I'm trying to try something new with you. And so it may be a little bit funny, but do it, and it does work. So when the file comes up, you are thinking still, you have under that influence of that person is better than you, higher than you, more important than you. So therefore you have gravity toward that person. Plus all these other memories that you had with that person. So because that person feels bigger than you, and everything comes together, the sexuality, the intimacy, the looks, the shine, and the funny things, and how you were impressed and infatuated by that person, all that's what you think when you have severed the relationship, or it's been severed, the relationship not by you, by somebody else. So you feel kind of deficient. You feel like it was their decision, so you feel inferior. So you feel that person is bigger and higher, and you have this looking up kind of thing. You're impressed. That's why you still want that person. So first thing you want to do, you want to make sure that you take that edge off. That what makes that person in your mind, the files, the memory, or the feeling you have, or however you're impressed, make that person big in your mind, important in your mind. You want to take that off. How? By not allowing the pictorials that you receive from that memory file to be a complete person. In other words, if you're a man, I'm not sure who I'm talking to, I forgot. Who am I talking to? Whatever. If you are a man and you're thinking about your ex-girlfriend, or if you're a lady, you're looking at you're thinking about your ex-boyfriend. Let's say, I don't know, since I don't remember, let's say you're a man and you're talking about your girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. And when her picture comes to your mind with that file, you think about her beauty, her sexuality, I don't know, parts of, the whole thing, and how infatuated you are. So right there, focus on one part of her body, because most of these infatuations and missing feelings is about the sexual feelings that you had and experiences you had with that person. Yes, it goes further than that, but mostly it's about the physical memories and physical warmth and physical security that you would feel, you would remember in those memories. So focus and turn that all those pictures come to you to one very, very small part of her, like her ear. Focus on the hole in the ear. Just focus on what's in her ear. Just pay full attention to one part, the nostrils, the eye. Don't let that whole picture take shape in you to represent the whole person, which brings about it all those other things, experiences they had with her. Suddenly, that person does not qualify to feel more and bigger and more important and more complete and heavenly and godly to you. Suddenly, you see that person is actually not impressive, because you focus on her humanity and incompleteness of recognizing that she has an ear, she has a nose, she has an eye, she has a tooth, and that gives you that feeling of she's also a human being, nothing more. She's no more than what she is, with her own shortcomings, own limitations, own mentalities that she needs to, improve and so on. And suddenly you bring her from that big, huge, heavenly pedestal that you had put her on to what she really is, a human being. And so happened that your desires for her made her important. Her by herself is not important. As long as you do not have a desire for something, that thing has no value. Look at a 5-carat diamond ring. As long as nobody wants to buy it, it has no value. It's doing nothing, sitting there. But when somebody wants it, desires it, suddenly it's in the market. An orange, you don't want to have an orange. In fact, you don't feel like having anything sweet or with that taste. Has no value to you. But apple does, because you want apple. But does that mean that the orange is not valuable, apple is. No, they're both valuable and not valuable depending on if you desire them. A person that you become friend with only becomes so important because your mind, your thoughts makes that person to be, and you believe your thoughts. Once you believe your thoughts and you say, it's my thought, I believe it, therefore it must be. But it's not. You create it because same person that you stop liking and you fall in love with somebody else, how come then that person, the new one, is now suddenly the apple of your eye and the focus of your attention? And that one, which you used to die for, is no longer of any caliber. So what happened? Did that person lose the value? Did that person gain the has value and this one doesn't? No. It's your desire that creates certain kind of a value in that person and not so much in the other one, or vice versa. So remember, you are the master. You are the one who creates that feeling that you miss them, you want them, you love them for the reasons that your desires, you following your desires, your emotions. So in fact, everything that that person seems to have is you giving it to that person by desiring that person. All you have to do, undesire her. Undesire him. Don't desire it. Understand that it is you who's the master of giving value. It's your desire that gives value to that person, not that person having a value by itself. You find a place for that, what that person can offer, the pleasure that you can receive from that person, however it may be. What that person offers you for comfort in life. Suddenly all of that translates into you seeing a benefit of that person for you, for your life. Therefore that makes you, whether physically or for these provisions and fringe benefits, desire her, to create a use, a need for that person. Therefore, on that basis, you bring value to that person. Focus on these things that you have created, that you are the master of creation of these feelings and emotions and sadness and needs and worshiping and all that. It's your desire, whether it's sexual desire, the intimacy, the things that that person does for you, things that you gain from that relationship with that person. All of that is what you seem to think is good enough reason for you to want somebody. Now, so if you see they're not in control of how you are feeling today, you have empowered them by your desire, following your desires. Don't follow your desire. Focus on who you are. Build something else. If you're the master to desire this, well, desire something else. Replace that file with somebody more beautiful if you're into the physical beauty, or somebody more qualified if you're in other kind of qualifications, and put that place in its place, that person in its place, not so high up. Bring it down. Focus on one part of him or her, the hair in the nostril. Suddenly you see, oh, that person is not really that heavenly. It's just as simple and normal and with the same shortcomings as we all have. So I hope that will help you a little bit to be more powerful in your approach when you feel sad, when you remember all these memories. Now let me see, who was it that I was talking to, who asked that question. Akasa says, what causes one finding herself in a dream praying, then woke up crying in reality? I'm not quite sure if I understand what happened. You dream that you're praying, then you wake up crying. Maybe you ate too much. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, there are many different discussions about dreaming. I often think that when you're focused and occupied all during the day about a certain subject, whether it's your religion, whether it's your beliefs, whether it's your projects, whether it's somebody you love, whether it's something you want to accomplish, writing, something you're writing, something you're reading, a story you're making, or hearing about it. If you constantly be occupied with that during the day as part of your activities, it is possible that when you sleep, you're sleeping with those thoughts, and those thoughts actually manifest themselves while you're sleeping. And if you're sleeping not deep enough, you will remember that memory. Obviously, we are always dreaming, but if you have a deep enough sleep, we don't remember our dream when we wake up. I remember when I was inventing some products, and that was one of my things that I always loved too. And for years, I wasn't inventing, but one night, it came into my dream, the part that I was missing, wanting to know how to do that. And so I got up and drew it up, and then made the prototype and so on, and went from there. But that's not because there was something extraordinary or mystic about it. It was because probably it was in my consciousness, because I, dealt with it for years, and somehow the idea of it maybe hit me on that day, and then it probably called a file. Mind was active and got into that file, and I saw it, and it described it the way that it should have. Just brought more of a clarity for me how it should be done. So it could be that. Otherwise, I'm not quite clear to follow the story here. Perhaps you can help me out a little bit, and I'd be more than happy to discuss it further. David says, yes, I've gotten better and feel better, but at times it still hurts. I will ask a question in a second. Okay, fine. But remember, when you guys remember of your ex, that name and that subject brings lots of other files, pictorial files, and with each of those pictorial files, there's an emotional package. There's an emotional file that comes with it, which you didn't ask for, but it comes with it. So what you need is to simply try to replace that emotional file with something else, to focus on the fact that that file that is coming, the reason that you feel that pain so hard is because when you remember something, if there's no emotional file coming with it, well, you're just a memory. But when there's an emotional file, whether it was an intimacy or love, whatever it is that comes with it, that emotional memory makes your physical body to react to that emotional memory, like sadness that makes your body, like if you remember something that you like, if you think about some fruit that you like, you may start salivating because you recreate the emotion that you receive, the sensation you receive when you're eating that. When you picture that file, the emotional file of sensation will come with it, and then your body reacts to that emotion. But that emotion doesn't exist. There is no fruit for you to be eating. It's just a file. You have to realize what you're reacting to is a dead memory. Is an emotion that its actor is no longer involved in acting it, creating it, causing it. It was at one time alive, like when they were making a movie, the actors were playing it. So that was then, they could change scenes and change words, and that was alive. But a moment later, when the scene was cut and taken, it was no longer reality, actuality. It was dead memory. And a dead memory may have with it, when you remember it, an emotional sensation file. But you have to focus that emotion that has been brought up with that memory, pictorial file, is causing your body to react, whether you get sexually excited or whether you get hungry because it's about food or whatever it is that you feel, or the love that you remember. But you gotta recognize that these are reaction of your physical body to the memory, the emotional memory or the sensational memory that is coming up with that file. Otherwise, there's no reality to it. There's no actuality to it. It's dead memory. Doesn't exist, has no consequences for you, and it's all gone. It's only a thought. And your thought makes what you think to see if it has actuality. Because thoughts are like a virtual reality goggle that you put on. And because you see nothing else other than what you can see on that goggle, you think that's the whole world. And therefore you believe that is the reality because nothing else can be visible, can be seen outside of the boundaries of that goggle. Now, thoughts in your consciousness is like the goggle. Your consciousness is like that virtual reality goggle that you have. You see the whole world and you interact with the whole world. You perceive things that you see in your life according to all the contents of your consciousness, what your consciousness entails. That's your goggle. And you need to take that goggle out and understand there is another world outside of your consciousness, outside of the content of your consciousness. Whatever you think, your thoughts, which is born from the content of your consciousness, is not necessarily true, is not the only thought that could be true, and it's not true, it's only a scene you're seeing in that screen of the goggle that you have on, the consciousness that you have on. Otherwise, outside of your consciousness, there is other contents, there is other realities, there is the actuality out there, but your consciousness makes you think what it thinks on its screen is the actuality, but it's not. Everything in your consciousness is dead. There is no reality and actuality to whatever is in your consciousness. They're all memory, and memory is the past, and the past is not here, which means everything there is non-existence. But the fact that it's in you, you think because in me, and it's in my screen, and that's the only screen that I'm interacting and negotiating life with, therefore it must be actuality. No, it's only what you can see, but what you can see is not necessarily actuality. I can see lots of things. I can see a movie, but that's not actuality. It's a dead memory of something. It gives me the same emotions as if it was alive, as if they were acting it, because I am allowing it to make me feel like as if it's real. I have put that goggle, and that's all I see. I'm into the scene. Therefore, I make myself to have this illusion of the reality of this. But if I focus on it, pay full attention of it, it's not really. I can just tell myself, change the whole scenario of me accepting it as actuality. It's not. Same thing with you. You have the memory of the X. You have to focus on the fact that this emotion that comes with this file is making my body react or miss that person or want that person, whether intimately, sexually, or whatever else it was, the emotion. These are all reaction of my physical body to the memory, a dead memory. And the memory is not life. It's the past. So if you focus on these, then it wouldn't be hurting that much, because then you're facing the actuality and reality, which is telling you this is a movie. It's not actuality, it's not reality. You don't need to think of it as it is, so your body will not react. And when your body reacts to an emotional file, you have a real, alive reaction. And therefore, because that emotion and that reaction of your physical body is real, because of that emotion is making it react now, and that is real, the actuality, the emotion is actuality, the reaction to the emotion, your physical reaction to the emotion is actually happening. You feel it tingling on your skin. Therefore, you think everything else about that memory is also real. But only the reaction is real. And when you focus on that this reaction is due to a dead memory of the past, then that reaction does not represent the whole memory and the story to be real, to affect you as if it's part of your life still. It's dead. Now, I hope that was something for you to enjoy or ponder. Akasa says, it's interesting listening to you, but it's my first time, so I can't ask too much like I used to do at my school teacher at school. No problems. You get used to it, and we'll have questions and answers, no problem. David says, very well explained, sir. I love, benefit from your perspectives. My pleasure, David. I'm glad you enjoyed. Akasa asks, Akasa, you didn't tell me where you are tuning in from. Listen, guys, there was a condition here that you guys are supposed to let me know where you guys talking to me from. So I want to know the geographics that we're covering. Anyhow, Akasa says, what gives one the power to fulfill his or her ambitious ideas, please? What gives you the power to pursue and fulfill your ambitions? Translation of that power in benefits to your life, to create use out of yourself by interacting in this journey. Every one of us are like a tree. We have seasons, we go through changes and we grow. And there would be a time that we need to produce a fruit, something to benefit the nature that has helped us to grow and develop. The challenges and the wisdom that we have learned on the path, on this journey, must enable us to create something out of this experience which would benefit the world, benefit the universe, benefit the nature, benefit the environment, benefit everything else that we somehow benefited from their existence and their efforts, which indirectly or directly had something to do with how we have been developed. So that tree needs to give fruit, and your ambitions, positive ambitions, are those fruits. You're responsible to make those fruits bloom, come to life. You're the tree who have gained all these experiences, wisdom, and know-how. You're supposed to produce something out of yourself to better the life of the others and yourself. However it may be, idea, honest day of work, whatever it is. Treating your children right, treating your spouse right, fairly, lovingly, unselfishly, providing for you, your parents, or your children, or your loved ones, being a good example to the society, to influence the society you live in a positive way, and make them feel all more stronger, healthier, hopeful by the way you live. Every one of us are connected like a puzzle to create this big picture of life. No matter how independent we think we are, every one of us are a piece of this puzzle, piece of this big picture. And everything we do affects all the others, whether directly or indirectly. So that is the fruit that you're supposed to be bearing. Your tree must give a fruit, whether in the shape of a flower or an edible fruit. Your ambitions are that fruit. You must bring them to life, as long as they are for the benefit of the mankind. Bring more peace and tranquility and power and positivity, positive energy to life in general itself. So that should be your ignition, your engine. To fulfill your dreams, your ambitions, is to bear that fruit that can help develop and grow the society, the nature, the universe, the continuation of the flow of the energy that is always from one end of the universe to the others and passes through us. And when it touches us, we want to boost it with more of a positive, loving intentions to expand this love, this energy that is flowing towards the other end of the universe, to help the nature and the universe to grow and to become better, wiser by our little touch. It's like a ball flying away, and we just push it a little bit on that direction, help it out. Your ambitions are that positive push. In short, that is what we can cover today. On my book, Mind, if you go on mind@seekstruth.com, you have a sample chapters of the books that I've written. And Me, My Psyche, and I does talk about willpower in elaboration. Meditation and willpower is part of that book, a few chapters in there, that the willpower has a lot to do with how to actually fulfill our ambitions and find the power engine to continue, understand our relationship with the nature's energy, and to ride on that energy in order to get where we want to get and what we want to produce and accomplish in life. Willpower is very important for complying or completing, pursuing your goals and ambitions. And of course, translation of that, your ambitions, what it does for you as a human being in this journey, that's another way that you can get power with. But willpower is a subject that I have on that book, Me, My Psyche, and I, that is also in paper and in ebook. So if you go on my site, I will choose the ebook. It's much cheaper. Ahmed Chatri, hello there, good to see you. Ahmed says, Mr. Mehran, I'm from Morocco. Could you please give us a definition of depression, how to avoid it, how to overpass it? How many of you remember the anecdote I told you about Nasruddin, the Turkish philosopher? I don't know if you remember or not, because this question reminds me of that. And I'm going to tell you that joke again, because after all, we're having a little fun while we're exploring important subjects. So Nasruddin was thousands of years ago, Nasruddin was a Turkish philosopher, very well known in that neck of the wood, and he would travel all around different cities and different villages and give speeches about wisdom and philosophy and life and so on and so forth, and very famous and very welcomed everywhere. So in one of his travels, he was traveling with his camel driver. So he and his camel driver, the camel and the camel driver, so he was on the camel and the camel driver was driving, pulling the camel, leading the camel. So he was going from city to city, and he was giving speeches about life and philosophy and wisdom and all that, and he was wonderful. So the first night, and the second night, the second city, and then the third city, then they went on to the fourth city, and they went on to the fifth city, and Nasruddin would give the same speech every night, and just glorious. When they got to the 10th city and the speech finished, and they went and traveled toward the 11th city, and they were camping outside of the city night before, so the next day would go inside the city and the Nasruddin would give his speech. When they were having a little fire outside of the city and sitting around, the camel driver said to Nasruddin, he said, well, you know what? It's not that difficult what you do. I mean, I can do the same speech just as good as you. I mean, because, he's been hearing it for the past 10 nights, same speech, and he's now become proficient in it. He knows exactly what Nasruddin says and how he says it, everything about it. So he says, yeah, I can do the same thing. It's no big deal what I don't know what's a fuss about. Nasruddin says, oh, okay, no problem. In the next city, they don't know me. So why don't we switch places, and I become the camel driver, and you sit on the camel, and you become Nasruddin. When we enter, they think you're Nasruddin, and you go on the stage, and you do your speech. No problem. He says, okay. So next morning, they switched places, and they went to the city, and of course, the city welcomed them, and now the camel driver is sitting on the camel, and Nasruddin is pulling camel as a camel driver. So they welcomed them, and they took Nasruddin, which is now the camel driver, to the stage and to the big area and thousands of people there. And sure enough, the camel driver, posing as Nasruddin now, gave his speech just as good and perfect as Nasruddin himself, because he's been hearing it for the past 10 nights. Until it came to the question-answer period. And somebody asked the question, and of course, the camel driver, now posing as Nasruddin, did not have the wisdom, only could repeat the speech like a parrot. And they asked the question, and he, of course, didn't know the answer. And he thought it through quickly and said, you know, this question is so primitive and so easy that even my camel driver can answer it. So he got Nasruddin as a camel driver. Now, I'm actually looking for my camel driver because that question is not an easy question. However, I will attempt. Ahmed, we all have fears, and we all have questions about why things are not going the way I go, why should I have this or not have this, what it does for me if I have it, what fears or what circumstances or consequences would it be if I don't have this or if I can't do this. And all those fears, uncertainty, in pursuit of psychological security, which is illusory and we never really get it, but we hang on to things in order to feel that we are closer to that psychological security. In pursuit of that psychological security, we make so many different trades, so many different deals with our own psyche. And because all this interaction between our thoughts and our consciousness, the controller, our consciousness, and the controlled, our thoughts, the watcher, our consciousness, and the watched, our thoughts. Because these are happening inside our brain, and these are the only thing that is really are talking to each other or affecting each other, we tend to think their expectations or what they conjure up in there is actually something that we should have or not have, or we pay attention to it, of their desires, of their thoughts, of their interaction. For that reason, we think something is necessary or something is not necessary. In order to be able to comply with what the consciousness is asking, thought will act according to what the consciousness is posing a question in there. And through that, we think we're going to achieve a psychological security, which we have conjured up many things in order to have an illusion of achieving that psychological security. We have created, we used to worship rocks and stones because our thoughts said to us that the rock that you shaped in your own basement and put two eyes on it, now if you pray to it, it will give you what you're asking for. So we believed it. Why? Because it was inside us who said it will give you. So there was no other thing, other source for us to tell us what is not. So this is the only source. So because it believed that this piece of rock can give me my wishes and can bring a better harvest, I believed it. So I started worshiping. So what am I worshiping? Is it the rock, or am I worshiping my own creation, which my own creation comes from my own thoughts? So I'm actually worshiping my own thoughts. Whatever God I have made out of these rocks, I've made out of my own thoughts and consciousness. So in fact, really, it is not the rock that I'm worshiping. It is my own thoughts that I'm worshiping. I'm believing in it in such a way. And this thought is what causes us to think something is good or bad, negative or positive. I should have it or I shouldn't have it. It is detrimental for me to have it or not have it, which brings certain kind of illusory beliefs to the point that if we have it, we're happy. If we don't have it, or if it's not the way we thought of it, it brings depression to us. Of course, you know that I'm not a doctor of medicine. My education is not in medicine. So I cannot tell you that I know about the causes of it or how to treat it, because I'm not a doctor. I want that to be very clear. I can tell you only about my studies and research and understanding about how the mind moves in that subject. But you need to ask this from your doctor and ask remedies or whatever it is according to wherever you are. So I want to make that clear. These are philosophical talks, not medical discussions. So for me, as anybody else in life, we all go through some depressive times and depressions. And that mostly comes, in my opinion, about the lack of psychological security. And in order to create that psychological security, we hang on to things. I may even hang on to this as my lucky charm cup because I thought it so. There's nothing lucky about or unlucky about this thing. But I thought it so. And my thoughts is my creation, is my world, is how I interact with the actuality of life. So I create and conjure up something that is really not true in my mind, and I act on it as if it is, because it gives me a certain feeling of psychological security, certain feeling. I accept and create that feeling of psychological security, and I believe in it. And therefore, I feel better. And the same way, something that comes up in my mind that makes me not feel good, and I believe in that I shouldn't feel good, which is the cause of my depression. I believe that it is detrimental to my life. I must have it. I don't have it, so I'm depressed. But having said all these, and understanding that these are a little bit discussion about how thought plays into that, what we think makes us feel the way we think. Our thoughts create our feelings, how we feel. I have a seminar that I did for one of the universities last year. It's called The End of Fear, that discusses about the role of thought and fear, how we feel, how we thought, how we feel, how we fear, and the connection of the two, which is very unique, in fact. If you go on my site, there's 10 minutes of it free, and you can listen to it. You get a lot out of it. But beside this, there's of course ways to deal with depression, depending on its level. Of course, the number one is to check with your doctor. Number two, though, on limited ways, always must be fit in exercise. When you exercise, dopamine and oxytocin and all these chemicals are naturally created, which brings you to a higher level of hopefulness and happiness. So little exercise to your level, to your fitness level, is very important every day to create this flow of energy. You see, if you stand in front of the ocean and put your hands into the water and bring a bit of the water of the ocean, you say, "My water." In your eyes, excuse me, in your eyes, it's your water. But in the eyes of the great ocean is part of the great ocean's water in your hands. Same thing, we have encased some energy, some life in our physical body, and we say, "My life." In my eyes, this is my life, what makes me to be alive. The part of energy that keeps me alive. But in the eyes of the great nature, the great universe, it's part of the great nature's energy, part of the great nature's life is within me. So what I have in me is part of the universal life. If I don't recognize this, I feel I'm alone. Therefore, I'll be depressed. But if I recognize that this energy that I have as my life is coming unlimited from one end of the universe to the other, and it encases me and binds me and helps me to function and gives me the energy that I need to function every day. Now, if I keep that water that we were in front of the ocean and keep it out of the ocean for a while, that water starts stinking, gets spoiled because there is no conflux. If I want it to be fresh, I got to let it back in the ocean water and have it conflux, interchange with the great ocean's water to keep it fresh. Same thing with me. If I don't understand how to have and create conflux between the energy encased in my body and the energy of the nature universe, then I will have a cooped up energy and it will be susceptible to diseases because it's not fresh anymore. But I also, like the water in the ocean, must let my energy, my portion of life, have conflux, interchange with this energy of the universe, which through exercise, creating this conflux, having the cooped up energy go out and new energy come in, just like when you cook in the kitchen and the smoke comes out from the cooking and you open the window and let the smoke go out and new fresh come in, then everything is again as it is. Same thing, you need to have a bit of an exercise to have this flow of energy change. Through meditation, to be able to understand the flow and conflux and improve that flow of energy that comes to us, because that what we don't see is part of what keeps us alive. That energy, that frequency, that when you sleep at night automatically comes to us and we're charged up. So when we get up in the morning, we're vigorous and full of energy. But even if you don't do anything, if you don't go to work, but sit on the couch and watch a movie or watch TV all day long, at the end of the day, we feel exhausted. Because through that day, while sitting on the couch doing nothing, there's been something facilitating our livelihood, our life. That's called ki. That's called energy. Japanese call it ki. And that energy is what needs to have conflux between the energy of the universe, which is always in the motion. And that you can create the same way by exercising, by meditating, because meditation is the same as when you sleep and your mind accepts the frequency of the energy flowing through the universe, and when you meditate you actually enter in the same frequency, that you get charged up with new fresh energy, which helps you feel elated and more of those chemicals naturally created in your body, and you feel hopeful, you feel not depressed, you feel energetic through the exercise, through eating proper, not eating junk and so much sugar and all that, and meditating. And then you feel, and as soon as you feel good, do something about it. Put it to work and create the habit of hopefulness and the ritual of the meditation every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the ritual of exercise every day, 5, 10, 20, 15, depending what you like, half an hour walk. And these will create that machine which turns and creates conflicts within your energy and energy of the universe, which helps the combating the depressions that we all feel at one time or another in different levels. Now, if it's on chemical levels and due to some chemical imbalance, that is not my forte, and that is where you need to speak with your doctor and see what their views are. I hope that would be something to give you some information about your question. I hope I addressed it enough to give you something to ponder. Alex. Okay. Now, Michael says how to deal with the stress. Stress is part of life. You all think of stress as something devious. It all depends on how you handle it. Have I told you guys about the lobster story? You know, lobster is a mushy, gooey thing inside the hard shell. And when the gushy, mooey thing grows as it gets older and wants to get bigger, it gets to the point that it can't expand any further because of the shell that is covered it. It's a hard shell, it can't expand. So that gives the lobster stress. That stress causes it to get rid of the old shell, goes and finds somewhere safe under the rocks in the ocean and sheds the shell, sheds that hard shell out and completely brings a new one, creates a new one a little bit bigger. So now he has place to expand. So this stress causes him to grow. When you have a stress in life, like that lobsters, you gotta use it to grow, learn from it to grow, deal with it to grow. Otherwise, stress is not always bad. How you handle it is what makes it bad or good. Learn the lessons from the stresses, and of course do your exercise, do your meditation, what we just talked about. Create this conflux and become stronger, just like when you become strong when you go to the gym and lift weights, and slowly you train yourself and your muscles become stronger, so you can now deal with maybe more challenging weights because you worked up to it. You built yourself, you prepared yourself, you trained yourself. The same thing through meditation, exercise, and feeling of understanding of what the stress can do for you. Train yourself and become stronger in the way of power to deal with the stress. Accept and understand the stress is part of this life. We are living in a dualism. We're living in a relative world. We're not living in a stress-free. We're not living in an absolute universe that everything would be exactly as it should be. So there is no ups and downs and ifs and buts, and all good and dandy and all perfectly as it's supposed to be. This is the journey that we have lots of potholes. We fall in there, we get up and get out of it, and next time we know there's a pothole, we'll jump over it or we'll go around it. So stress, this is how you handle it, and this is how you, it's an opportunity for you to get stronger and bigger and better and more wiser, smarter, more skillful. Okay, that's enough. Reminds me of Austin Power. Too many examples on this one. So I hope, Michael, that was something for you to ponder on. So guys, Alex, could someone tell me what time it is? I wonder if I have spoken more than our normal hour. 11:50. Okay, that is time for me to say goodbye. I was delighted to be here. I was happy to have this opportunity to discuss things with you. Thank you for being here, giving me the opportunity to share these things with you. Who says no? David, I have to go. You guys gonna get tired of me. And remember, watch the YouTube channel. The title, the link is up there. And watch for new videos coming. Check my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, please do. More than happy to do so. I do that on daily basis with people around the world through Skype. And there is, of course, a VIP videos of 120 videos that is not listed on YouTube, and you can become a member on the site. I don't know, it's $5 a month or something, very nominal, to have access to more of that. And soon I'll have a new elaborate video that is in the works. And thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share these things with you. And I look forward to talk to you next week. And please go on my Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth. Again, the link is up there, and like it, so we'll be in touch. And we'll have more of this discussion soon, I hope. And Carrie says, thank you. Have a super day. You too, dear. I love you all. Thank you again for being here. Take good care of yourself and the others, and sort things out. And I talk to you guys next Saturday on my own Facebook page, which the link is up there, Mind That Seeks Truth, and next Sunday right here on the Amazing Things in the World channel. And I thank Witty Feed for providing and facilitating this opportunity to talk to you guys through this medium. Have a wonderful day and week, guys. David, I'll talk to you guys later, next week soon. Love you all, and thank you very much. Talk to you later. Saud Thai. Yes, assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much to Saud. Bye for now.